This is the ALGO podcast, episode 16 with Yenny Otero. We talk everything about Bachata Week, formerly Bachata Sensual Week Cadiz. It is the Bachata Week of the year for advanced dancers who are looking to take their next steps in their dance journey. So we hope you enjoy the episode. If someone has never heard of Bachata Week, previously Sensual Week, how would you describe it to them?
Well, it's always been the same thing. It's a gathering of friends. It's a journey with the people that really care about bachata, going to a place where they can meet the teachers in a special space. And of course, it's a trip in the summer to the beach with them. So it's an intensive learning week in a place where you can make connections, have fun, quite unforgettable.
We'll jump straight into the misunderstandings people have about it.
Yeah.
I know, for example, I know nothing about it. This year is going to be my first time. What are some of the biggest misunderstandings people have about Bachata Week?
Well, it's an interesting year because it's the first year that we have a new brand. So that's going to be one of the first things to change, that we're focusing on many styles, and it's going to be really exciting to have a collection of teachers, the headliners of many festivals, all together in one place, focusing in their style in a way that they never do in other festivals, in a way that is really focusing on the technique and the details, teaching people the same way that they would teach in classes in their school, but with an audience that is international and is really advanced dancers. So misunderstanding people have, maybe some people believe that it will be different quality than what we had before. I think that it's going to be, we're going to keep the same quality, the same format, the same curation, but now we're going to have a lot more offering. So it's super exciting.
When you say new brand, for people who don't know, like me, what does new branding mean? So all I know is that the name has changed from Sensual Week to Bachata Week. What else has the new branding come with? And what's been the source of the new branding?
Yeah, we have been called Sensual Week since 2014, mainly because we were focusing on the sensual dance style. And last year we decided to make a change, and also reflecting a little bit of the needs of the market. You see that there's a lot of interest of people that have very good base of sensual, but also bringing a couple of more different styles of fusion and Dominican. And then when you see in Jack and Jill's competitions are becoming quite interesting, you see people bringing so many more elements, the conversation when you're dancing, the connection in very different ways. So we wanted to honor now that new need of the market in this new chapter, and rather than just calling it the name of one style, we wanted to call it the name of the dance that we all want to do, which is bachata. And as a very personal thing that we wanted to do with Andreas, my husband, and we run this together, is that for many years we call it Sensual Week. And when we talk about it in the real world, in the outside world, people think we run, I don't know, a swinger party or something really weird. So even the bags, when you have a Sensual Week, it feels like weird when people don't know what you're about. So now that we call it Bachata Week, I think it's going to feel also more inclusive and a little bit more, we are going to be able to talk about it more openly.
That makes sense. From an outsider, for me, when I hear Sensual Week, I think sensual, which I imagine is probably what it started off as, focusing on. And now you have all kinds of bachata fusions. It's funny, just as a side note, when I hear people debating about what is pure bachata, what's not, I think you have traditional/Dominican, and then everything else is just fusion. And it really doesn't matter how much of a Puritan people want to be. Like, there are debates going about like Bacha Zouk spectrum, how much is bachata, how much is Zouk, whatever. Anything that's not Dominican is now officially bachata fusion, and you just have fun. So it makes sense that you're rebranding that name. And linking back to what you said about the market demands and you want to adapt to it, are there any specific problems in the dance scene or festival scene that you wanted to solve or have developed a desire to want to solve since you started it? Are there any direct things you're trying to address as a result of this event?
100%. All of this started because me, Andreas, and the friends we have around our community, we want to have quality for our time. Many times you go to festivals and festival organizers think that they are doing better because they have more people. It's the biggest festival in the world. You have 2,000, 6,000, so much. It's about quantity. We wanted to turn around the conversation. When I go to a festival, I want quality. I want classes where I can actually have a conversation with the teachers when they see me and give me feedback, when I'm actually learning, not just, observing like a concert. The artist is this big and I'm there in the audience with very random people around me. I want events where I'm able to spend time with my friends, with not a multitude of people that I never see my husband in the rest of the night, but that we're able to go for dinner, enjoy, create this community. And we wanted to create a space where there was an area for being humble. A lot of events are becoming much more a show off. You go there and then you're the best, you only dance with the best. Like there's like this division between who's good and who's not. And there's a lot of this pressure of, am I good enough? Am I dancing well? One of the values we have is being humble. And I think it's important that we, in this event, are trying to bring it in every single way, because nobody is better than anybody. The bigger teachers, the most popular ones, the biggest dancers, they are good in this environment. And in other environments, other people that are coming have other skills, are different. Everyone is the same at the end. So we wanted to create that space for everybody to be humble and share as a community.
How do you screen for that? How do you find artists and dancers who fit that criteria? And what is that criteria? Because obviously humble can mean different things to different people. So what's your process and how you go about that?
Well, it's been a quite challenging one, especially when we do the selection. Very much in the beginning, we wanted to help people understand that this is an event for not just people that are beginning dancing, but you need to have a certain level. And when we allowed people to select it themselves, everybody just signed up. Of course, I'm an advanced dancer. What we realized with many years is that an advanced dancer, or these titles of levels, work in a context. You're the most advanced dancer in Hawaii because you're the only one. Fantastic. But you're not the most advanced dancer in Cadiz because there's people from 50 plus countries and everyone is doing amazing in their country. So it's not about who is the most advanced. We wanted to create something else that allowed people to feel that, yes, you have enough basics to be here, but at the same time, you're organizing groups where you're focusing on the things you have to learn. So we do have an evaluation process, and you're going to get some scoring in 5 criteria, but that's for you. It's personal and it's for you to share it if you want, or for keeping it for yourself. But it's a self-learning journey. Then when we divide people in groups, we always change it. We have had colors, we've had fruits, like we always mix it so that people never have the feeling of, oh, I'm better this year, or I'm growing. Every year is different, and everyone that comes here is good enough. And we're here because we have all something to learn. So yeah, we've been trying to translate that value of being humble in the selection and in the organization of the festival. And then again, with the artists, I think that we've been very lucky to, for many years, work with many artists that are incredible teachers that are bringing the most of their creativity to this event. Like a couple of years ago, we were discussing with Paula and Raquel. They were telling us how every year they prepare unique moves for this festival, unique new things that they're bringing, and they continue developing it for the rest of the year. So they use that material for a lot of their events. So it's an opportunity for the artist to create something new, to challenge themselves, to bring something new to the community. And we very much curate all the artists, especially this year, to people that we feel that are incredible teachers, that are also very good artists, and that have something to bring with that humbleness. So yeah, we're going to be really exciting to have new faces, and I'm sure they're going to be incredible.
Are there any particular artists you're allowed to announce now that personally you're most excited for whatever reasons?
Wow, I wouldn't be able to tell you that one of them is more exciting than the other, because it's been a very exciting and emotional journey to select the artists of this new year. And each one of them has been handpicked, has been a personal conversation of sitting in the sofa and talking about what are your views, what are your values. It has been so much of personal curation on that relation with the specific artist that I would say all of them. I cannot really pick up one because we've created a specific relation with all of them.
That's a good answer. You mentioned you, of course, want to address certain things that are happening at different festivals that don't happen here. You want to create a certain environment. Is there a particular, let's say, feeling that you want a first-timer to experience at the end of the very first day, where they realize, oh, this is different, or they immediately realize, oh, this was worth it?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty interesting journey for people when they first apply and get starting to come to the event and they think about how it's going to be their week. Especially with first-time comers, we get a lot of them thinking, oh, it's only the basic program is only 2 hours per day. It's so little. But then you don't realize this is not a race, it's a marathon. You need to survive. 6 days of dancing, in which in the day you're having 2 very intensive classes when they're really drilling on you, when you're learning so much, when you're making the most. You need to take some space to actually properly practice what you learn with the people in your group and like bring it to life. Then a lot of people take additional classes like Dominican, emphasis on body movement, and a couple of other special classes that we're adding to complete what people are getting their criteria in their criteria. They see the spaces for growth. And on top of that, every night we have a party in which you're dancing about 6 hours per night. Nice. Do that for 6 days. And it really becomes at the beginning of the week, everybody wants to do absolutely everything, super excited. Middle of the week, you see how people are like, oh God, I'm going to take it a bit more easy in the evening. I'm going to chill. So yeah, we're going to have a theme that is a bit like lower energy, but still making it happen. And at the end of the week, I feel you see how the group comes maybe a little bit more dispersed, and everybody's kind of bringing their mindset, their styles, their group of friends. Middle of the week, people are already cohesively creating new groups, becoming new best friends. At the end of the week is magic. You've met a lot of people from all over the world that you never knew existed. You've created these relations that you're like, why can't you make, I've heard it so many times, why can't you make this event not a week but a month? We need bachata month because it's too little in a week. So time goes super fast. And at the end of the first day, I think is the build-up of all that excitement and still the expectation of a week to come. You still have five days to go.
It's interesting you say sometimes people will say 2 hours a day isn't a lot, because I think that goes to show what the general view towards your everyday class is in whatever the society is, because I definitely had that view. When you start dancing at first, you want to go to as many classes as you can. You want to go to like 4 or 5 a week. Now I'm at a point where I'll do one private class. Let's say I did one a month ago for an hour and a half only. And I was so mentally exhausted because it's such new things. And it reminds me of the days when I was studying for university. Just the sheer amount of water I had to drink and the headache I would get from the energy I would burn just thinking, I think, understandably so, people don't appreciate that a lesson should feel like that, because if you go to like your local weekly class, whatever it is, they teach you some sequences, whatever, you probably know half of it, you zone out half the time and it feels very boring and it goes by fast. But I imagine 2 hours a day is beautiful because it's the sweet spot of also, you don't want to keep learning and learning and learning before you have a chance to consolidate what you're doing, and you kind of keep expanding like a big bubble. So I think that makes sense personally.
Absolutely. And every one of these 2 hours is a master class with these teachers, where you're not just in a class with them, but you're with a selected group of exact leaders and followers, exact number. So you're all the time challenging and trying these things that you're learning with the group. And at some point you might have questions. You can ask them. They can see you and they can give you personal feedback. You can try the things with them. You can continue a conversation and, build on what you're learning. I think at the end of the 2 hours, there's so much that you've gathered, and you have 5 master classes throughout the week on top of all the extras that you get. It's a lot of learning.
You've described the process of selecting the artists. What makes someone the perfect fit to attend the event itself as a dancer?
Of course, there's a baseline. So you need to have gotten to a certain level with your basics and the foundations of bachata dancing. So that's a filter. But on top of that, we have had a lot of teachers. I think last year we counted, it was 78% of the participants were teaching in one of the 50 different countries that they were coming from. So I think people come there because they are really hungry to learn something that they can go and teach to their communities. And maybe that's a key element. The perfect participant is somebody that is humble enough to understand you still always have something to learn. And you come in with the open eyes to say, give me challenge, help me grow.
And it creates a very different environment, because if you look at your local weekly classes, whatever, a lot of the time people might go there just out of convenience or just to socialize, even if they are enjoying dancing, and even if they are trying to become better dancers. There are many other reasons why people might go there, which is not a bad thing, but I don't want to say it dilutes the seriousness, but it does dilute the seriousness of people who go there to learn because they're on it. So I would imagine an event like this, which is designed for people who want to keep getting better, when you're in an environment surrounded by others right next to you learning the same things or harder, and all of those other people want to keep getting better, the environment, I would imagine, is very nice. Let's say it's kind of like when you're in school, legally, you're forced to be there as a child. Whereas when you're an adult and you choose to partake in this, you're probably going to be surrounded by other people who want to do the same as you. So when you're surrounded by people who want to learn, even just that such a simple thing, I imagine it would be felt very viscerally in whatever the room is.
100%. And I think there's a space in the market because there's not a lot of events or opportunities that are high quality for advanced dancers. If you really got to a point where you're teaching international festivals, you've taken all the classes of people around in your community, the option is either you go and take privates. Do you collect certificates? Like, what are the options that you get? And this is an opportunity for, during a week, really going with like-minded people in the same space in their dance journey to build something new and to bring something unique to your home.
You mentioned before to me that Bachata Week prioritizes depth and intention. What does that look like in terms of real behavior on the dance floor, whether it's in lessons or in socials?
We talked about intention and depth also because we curate the program. It's not just a random collection of classes that happen throughout the week. Every day has a specialization, like a theme that teachers are following, and teachers know what is being taught every day. So it's not like you have 5 separate classes, but everything is built on what was given the day before. And we have the teachers having conversations with each other about how was this group, what else do they need, what do you feel? So we aim at having a experience that doesn't feel like you went to 5 master classes, but you went to really a program in the week where you're focusing on the area that you selected. Now, this year, we're also doing something new. We are allowing people to select their focus area. And there's 2 options. You can choose to do the couple technique, which is similar to what we have been doing in previous years, focusing on that leading and following exercise, bringing much more of that advanced movement technique and skill and bringing it to life with all these teachers. And we have something new, which is called the body technique program, which is still in the partner dance. How you look, how you feel your musicality, your style, how do you keep developing with a little bit more of that body movement, a special unique element, still in the partner dance, but adding an emphasis on body movement. We wanted to try it because a lot of people have told us that this is something they want to develop, also with a lot of Jack and Jills or people doing demos or you recording even the video. There's a lot of moments where you feel like, oh, I don't look as good as I should, and we have a space for that. So we're giving it a try, and we want to hear from people what they want to learn. We want people to be quite conscious about making a selection of I want this or I want that, or these are the places where I need to learn, so that we're able to offer to people really what they need. So in that sense, we're very, creating a program rather than creating a random spread of artists.
So the essence is more that you have the track if you want to focus on leading and following and the partner aspect, and then everything else, which is more the solo aspect.
Yes, but
solo within partner work.
Exactly, because there's a very big difference between solo as a styling class, yes. Right? When you have a styling, how do you apply that in the partner dance? How do you make sure that you bring those elements as part of your partner dance? So yes, it's a new idea we have. We're going to give it a try, but there's a lot of interest.
I think actually now that we're talking about this, because when you convinced me with your negotiating to finally get me there this week, I think I told you, I haven't applied yet, so I can still change my mind. Or I haven't. We'll figure it out. I don't know. I said I wanted to do the partner track, but actually the more I think about it, the other one sounds much more needed for me.
It's hard to choose, I agree. Me, myself, I'm having a hard time to choose because as much as I want to really do more of this partner dance, now also with the new teachers and with so much of the combination, I think it's going to be exciting. I think the solo program is going to be exciting too. What we're going to do to help with the FOMO of that selection is that we're also going to have additional body technique classes and extra classes to cope for those that really wanted to have a little bit of that as well. So it's not a life-changing choice, but it's important to choose.
It's a difficult choice for sure. You've also told me that the event wants to prioritize connection over show and posturing. How can somebody self-check that? Because I think it's always easy to point it out in others, and it's always easy to see whatever and kind of throw a judgment on that. How can people be more mindful of that about their own behaviors? Because sometimes it's intentional, but sometimes we're also, whether we're conditioned or we just don't realize we're doing it. What would you recommend to someone to self-regulate and self-check that?
That's a very good question. And it reminds me of a conversation we were having in a group of friends. Iman was talking about how creepy this word connection has become. When people are talking about connection, it's sometimes looked at, are they looking at each other enough? So it's like you start dancing and you look at each other in a creepy way almost. That it sometimes feels fake and it's forced and it's not the right thing.
Yeah.
So I think that we would describe connection much more as being able to really have a space for that presence, being present with the other person in the moment. One of the values we have in the festival is focusing on connection. And you can have connection first with all the people from all over the world, that you start creating new connections and that new network that can help you do crazy things in the bachata scene in the future. You can have that connection with your teachers, because rather than seeing them as little, stars in the concert in big festivals, you have them in front of you and you can start creating a conversation. But most importantly, in the social, it should be about connection. Why do we have so many socials in the world that have become just a space for filming? And that takes away all of the magic of the actual dance. You're dancing because you have a connection, a conversation with a person in front of you. If you have the lights, then you have to perform under the pressure. It's the first festival in the world where we have made the rule of you cannot do videos in the social. When we started, even the artists were telling us, it's impossible, you cannot do that. People will do it and you cannot force them and this is crazy. And we're like, we're going to do it. In the beginning also, a lady was telling us very angry, oh, but I paid for my ticket and I deserve my videos and you're the only festival in the world that is making this. And we're like, yes, we are, and that's part of the agreement. And sorry, if you don't like it, that's the rules. And I think that now more festivals are doing it because people start appreciating that when you turn off the cameras, you start really enjoying the time with people. And for the artist, it's amazing. You actually can go out there and enjoy, and there's nobody recording you and judging you and later doing did they smile enough when they're dancing with, or was she happy enough? No, you can stop working and start enjoying. And also with a person that you just met, you can just feel the music, be present, close your eyes. So yeah, I think that what makes actually that magic happen during the social, and it's one of the pillars that we have, that connection.
That reminds me of a scene from a movie with, I think the actor's name is Sean Penn, and he's a wildlife photographer, and I think I don't know the full movie, but it seems like he's training his protege or something, and they're in the wilderness, and then there's this beautiful shot of a fox in the snow or something, I don't know. And then the guy next to him, he's training, he goes to him and says, aren't you going to take the shot? And he says something like, sometimes I just like to not take it because then it exists only up here and you can just witness it instead of recording it. So I haven't been to many festivals, but the first festival I went to where they had a no filming thing for one night, which was still powerful, was it was either Bachata Gala or Bachata Sauna, or something in Finland, something in Helsinki. And that idea to me is beautiful because there's something very just almost delicate and tender where not only the dance I'm sharing with this person in this moment to this song, in this space of the room with these people around me, whatever, you can always try and do the same routine of moves for whatever if you wanted to. You can even do it to the same song, but no matter how much you try and replicate it, they're always going to be unique in their own way. And when you know it's not captured, it kind of just makes you appreciate it a bit more. Whereas even though it's nice to get some dances on recording and filming, just being observed changes the nature of it. So my favorite videos of me dancing are the ones where I don't even know I'm being filmed. So in those events where no cameras, just be there with someone, it allows you to just, for lack of a better word, be more authentic, I guess, because like you said, you're not performing, there's nothing there, there's no reason to do anything that you don't want to do. So me personally, I like that quite a lot, and I didn't know that you can't film at the social, so that's perfect. Yeah. That explains why a lot of people film at the beach then, because also great view, but you're allowed to.
Exactly, and you have the whole week to record. You have Cadiz, which is a gorgeous place with beautiful light. So in the social, there's no allowed to do video, but instead it's a moment for actually really enjoying. And I think that's quite precious. That's the kind of things that I would not give up, and that I'm very proud that we're changing the whole community. We were definitely the first ones to do it. And I'm really happy that more people are daring to do things different, because very often people are afraid of creating new rules that follow your values, but you have to follow your values.
Props to you for holding that up. And I can imagine it also adds a certain sense of, I guess, like tender ownership of the moment, because you're there and it's your moment to keep. You know, there's nothing you're not in the background of some random person's video. They're not recording yours. They're not recording anything, and it's just there. And years down the line, or whatever it is, you won't have any trace that this happened, but it just kind of exists up here in its own little bubble.
And it's about the chip that you have in your mind. If there's videos around, you always have the performance feeling. Like, what if somebody records me and I need to like be paying attention to the video? Maybe you want to have a video as well. But if you take away the chip of I need to perform, but you put the chip of I need to be present, that's when the magic happened. I think you described it magically as about you can only have one chance of being with the same people in the same room at the same time. This will never happen again. So you have to feel rather than perform.
Mm. You mentioned 2-hour masterclasses every day. What does a typical day's structure look like at this event?
It depends on the choice of everybody. The minimum thing that will happen is that you have your classes, your 2 hours, whatever they happen in the day. We try to move it around, so not all the classes are in the morning. So one day will have classes in the morning, the other one in the afternoon, the other one in the middle of the day. And depending on what you chose based on your evaluation, you can say, I want to work a little bit more deep in musicality. Maybe that's a thing, and there's some additional classes you could add for musicality, like 1 hour classes. Maybe you say, I really am keen about Dominican. We have a Dominican additional class, so you can add it as well. But about 2, 3, maybe 4 hours per day are a lot of classes already. And the rest of the day is about first sleeping enough, taking care of yourself. Cadiz is a gorgeous city, and everybody's staying in their own hotels or accommodation. Everybody chooses where they want to stay, and it feels like we take over the city, and everybody is living in different parts of it. So you start getting your friends for like, okay, let's have a picnic in the beach. Let's go to the supermarket and buy the food, and we're gonna gather in the beach. There's a day social happening in the pergola next to the hotel, so we're gonna spend some time there, and we're gonna chill and relax. Or you want to gather with everybody for dinner. There's a lot of really good, special Spanish traditional restaurants. So you gather with people that you've never met, and you have dinner, and you start getting them to know them better. And every evening has a theme. So we have a gala party, one of them, that has a red carpet, and it's really exciting to come there dressed like really nice. The hotel is beautiful. We have the view of the sea, and that feeling of like being super elegant, almost like in a prom. We have another parties that are a bit more chilled, and we'll have one night that is Dominican, so the Dominican colors with a little bit more emphasis on Dominican music and the feeling of what if we were in Dominican Republic. So we try to change a lot the nights so that they feel very different. And the time goes really fast. Like, what does it feel? I think in the beginning you feel like, oh my God, I have so much time to feel. But the time goes, and there's not enough time for everything. And of course, we're competing with the time in the beach. So,
how do you recommend for someone to try and balance learning and social dancing and rest and the beach and sleep and the whole event on its own?
Well, I would say make the most of the opportunity, yes. But the opportunity comes in different phases depending on where you are in your dance journey. There's been some participants that come and they want to take 2 full tracks. And they want to do not 2, but 4 hours per day. And they want to do a lot of additionals, and they want to do extra and extra. And every day is very busy, and the week is heavy. But they do it especially because in the part of the world where they live, there's nothing of this. So I cannot judge it, because I understand that their need at the moment is, I need to collect everything I can because I'm going to move to the other side of the world, and I don't know when I can come back and get the same value. And that's perfectly fine, because that's what they need. There's some other people that what they need is a moment to connect with the dance itself. We heard from a lot of people that this is the week where they again remember why they're dancing. Maybe they're saturated, maybe it's heavy, like running a school or running events or trying to do dancing as the only person in your community is heavy. And this is the week where a lot of people gather back why do I dance? Why is this fun? Why does it matter? So if that is the focus you have, then yeah, have your classes and learn a little bit more, but focus on connection, focus on the moments, focus on having those unique moments that you cannot have anywhere else. So yeah, I think in the beginning I could tell you, yeah, take it easy. But now that I've done it so many times, I realize everybody has unique needs. And it really depends what you need at that moment in your life, in your career, in your dance journey. And what makes you happy.
That makes sense. What do you notice about people and how would you address or help someone? What do you notice about their behavior or the way they learn if they do become very overwhelmed with everything that there is?
Yeah, I think that thankfully we haven't had people feeling overwhelmed, because as we start always with 2 hours, we are really trying from the beginning to give you enough to fill the day, but not to make you feel overwhelmed. I feel the overwhelming happens more before. Like once you hear about the event and that you don't know where to choose, people really are curious about, should I choose this? Should I choose that? What should I do? And one of the things that we're very happy to do is that we also have a personal service. I think we're the only event in the world that the organizer has the WhatsApp available, I wouldn't say 24/7, but a lot of hours in the day to talk to the participants. My job is to make sure that everyone makes the most of the event. So many times I have a personal conversation with people talking about, where are you in your dance journey? What do you want to get out of this? How do you make the most out of the situation? And helping people maybe see it in a different perspective has been something we're improving. Also this year, we have something new. We're working with Kim from London. And we're having one online program we're going to have before the event about helping people remember why they dance, where are they in the journey, what do they want to get out of it, and a couple of exercises that she usually runs in her work environment, but she wants to bring it to dancing because nobody's doing it, and she wants to bring her skills for the dance community because there's a sense of value on that, and I'm super happy to support her. So yeah, it's about opening opportunity in the dancing, also to not just have a conversation about dancing. I think it's so much more than learning moves or learning the technique. We're here, all of us working with different challenges that come in the sense of, I'm feeling overwhelmed, I lost the sense of why to dance, or even the challenge of how do I market or how do I deal with my finances. So yeah, I think we're going to have a couple of additional tracks to also help with, specific skills that everybody has that is bringing their unique value on.
I think there is definitely a demand for like a life coaching-esque specifically about someone's journey for dance, because I'm sure you've had infinitely the amount of conversations that I've had with people about this, where even for yourself personally, I know I have it too, where you at many different points, months, years in dancing, you question the why or the where or the what, and it's hard to find the answers, let alone to also develop the tools on your own, because most of the time, same with people's finances, it's not that people are just wildly irresponsible, it's just a lot of the time they lack the tools. So I think if you had something like this, which you will, that sounds pretty good. That's a pretty cool idea, actually. I've never considered that.
We're trying to give also an answer to these kind of life tools and techniques, and also a bit more practical. Like even how do you set up the finances successfully for an event is something that I've learned here in my MBA. Yes, we are in the university and I'm doing a lot of these classes. I think that's the one that I want to offer to help people have a better relation with their money when they're organizing their school, their event, something related to dancing. You don't need to do a master in business to get access to these skills. It's unfair that only comes in this environment. So I want to abstract it and bring it really with the right tools that I'm applying to my own, company, so it can help the community.
Talking more about the evaluation and the track system, just for people who don't know about how Bachata Week works, you have tracks and levels. Yes?
Well, so we have this year a little bit different than other years. Very often what we did is that we received thousands of videos applications. We reviewed all of them, and then we were helping people find the right track. And that was a lot of work. And the biggest challenge that I had for participants was that they could only book their trip to Cadiz in May, June, super late when prices were higher. It was difficult to find accommodation. So this year we're making it a little bit faster in the sense that there's two evaluations of videos. In the first round, the teachers are going to just have a yes or no. And in that yes or no, we're going to very quickly tell people, you have the base level to come to Cadiz, you can join. And that's when people choose their focus area. And they're able to a little bit make more decision of what do I want to focus on. After that, that video gets properly reviewed. So it's a longer evaluation that takes care by the teachers, where they're evaluated by the 5 different criteria, and they get a scoring and they get a advice summary. So that is when you get your personal feedback of what you have to grow. And imagine we have a pool of, let's say this year we're going to have 400 people. We'll have a certain group of that is doing the body technique. The other one is doing the couple technique. So by that, we are already dividing the group. And then we are not organizing people based on their levels, because again, what is advanced, what is beginner, is really hard to do. Yes, there is a little bit of a difference between where are you in your journey, but I think the most important element where we are organizing people is what they need. So if what the teachers need to focus on is musicality, we put you with people that have, yes, similar level to you, but that are more focused on musicality. So we have one group that is more focused on one thing because all of them have lower scores on that. So we're trying to focus a little bit more on what you need, not what you have already.
What would you want people to understand so that they don't feel, it is judgment, but so they don't feel too judged about the video application process?
I think that the most important thing is to come at it with a sense of learning. We don't do this because we want to judge if you're good or bad, or we don't want to put you a label. We come with a video evaluation because it's a tool for learning. Just the fact of doing a video and watching yourself doing things is a great way of opening your eyes to say, oh, those are the areas I can do better. And sometimes it's scary. Like I was doing it with my own video. I put it out there with so much fear, and it's scary that have your friends or have somebody watching that video, let alone these big artists telling you what score they would give you. But a lot of people do it in Jack and Jills. They go and they participate and they get a little bit of feedback. But there's no opportunity for these big artists to give you actual scoring and advice, and that you can follow up throughout the week on that specific thing, and that you can work on it and be conscious about it. Like this is part of the bigger journey, that video that you sent. So again, when people send the video, I would say don't send it trying to show your best. Send the video that really shows the places where you need to grow, because that's what's going to help you visualize better if that's really where you have to grow, if there's something else. It's like opening it, and it's only for you. Nobody else will find out your scoring. So it's a personal journey.
This reminds me of a video I was watching this morning. I think some people in the audience are going to laugh at this reference. There's a YouTuber called Dom Mazzetti, or Bro Science Life. He does like satirical fitness content stuff. He was reviewing something, and he said, yeah, I can see why people would say this is cringe or whatever. But the most cringe thing you can do is be unwilling to be cringe, which links back to not being open to being judged, because putting a video out like this can be very intimate and personal. Your friends will see it, your family will see it. There's this idea that I think, well, I definitely had when I was much younger, which maybe most of us have had, where we're afraid to take something really seriously and really give it our all and risk looking a bit stupid in order to get good. But when was the last time, like those people that judge you for taking something seriously, when was the last time they took anything seriously? So the only thing more cringe than being cringe is being too scared to be cringe because of someone else's opinion. So dance is much more of a inherently personal thing, because how we physically move is tied to whatever's going on up here. If I was to pick up pottery, I would be much less self-conscious about showing what's my best in pottery than I am with dance, because even though I've made tremendous personal progress with how comfortable I am just dancing in front of people, even still the idea of dancing on my own in front of people absolutely shit terrifies me. So the other day I was at an event, and it was the first time at the end of the classes the teachers did an open demo, where one of the teachers just rotated with the person they were teaching with, and then any one of the students could just jump in and do an open demo in front of everyone, which I thought that's actually pretty cool. For whatever reason, I should be used to this by now. My friends were like pushing me like, yo, go at the end. My heart rate went through the roof, and I became so shy all of a sudden, and I don't know why. So personal story aside, you recommend they have a perspective of this might feel a bit uncomfortable in the moment, but this is ultimately for your better, and they're not doing this to put you down. They're doing it to try and pick you up.
100%. And it could be a public video on Instagram if you feel like you want to put it out in the world. It can be a accessible video in YouTube that we can access, but you don't have to show it to all your friends at once. But I think the most important is allow yourself that space for growth. If you don't let anybody give you feedback, how are you going to learn? So it's the first step in that learning journey.
Could you walk me through the same theme across different tracks? How would that look like?
Yes. So, for example, one thing that we started doing last year, and it had really good results, is that we gave every day a theme. So we have, let me try to get it by memory, basics, and your basic step and basic dancing and your básicos. Then you have technique. Then you have musicality. You have originality, and you have energy management. So the evaluation you're going to get are in these 5 different elements. 2 of them are about how your basics and your foundations are, which probably everybody will have a grade because they're coming and they're selected. Musicality, originality, and energy management is something that makes you from good to great. It's the kind of thing that defines why artists look amazing, why you feel incredible. So each one of the days of the week will have an emphasis. And depending on what you chose, musicality, you can do very different depending on what group you are. If you're in the couple technique class, musicality is developed a little bit different to what it's given in the body technique, just because you have a little bit of a different emphasis. Still musicality, still looking at that item and the things that you got as your feedback, but with a little bit of different emphasis.
Makes sense?
Does that make sense?
It makes sense. How much of the process to plan all of this and the process to do all of it, how many other people's creative inputs did you get in, if you can even count? And how did you go about evolving this? Because I'm sure it's changed throughout the years, especially since the first one.
Wow, it's of course, the result of all of that has been working together with the teachers. Really understanding every year, how do we continue creating an event where you have all of these artists. Many of them don't teach in the same school, don't see each other every week. They cannot align. We wanted to create a framework how we could really give people a continuous experience without making it feel fragmented. And it has been input of people, has been, of course, all the teachers and the people that we've been organizing this with, because, of course, we're taking a lot of the learnings of the last decade, as well that I think that there's a key element. Every single year, we make an evaluation, and we're very true to listening to the feedback of our customers, of our participants, when they said that something is working, when something is not, when they like more of something. Even now that we're going to open the applications, we're going to be asking to people, what do you want to learn? And we listen to that a lot. Right now, I'm giving you a feeling of the week that might change, because if we feel that everybody applying is wanting to learn things a little bit different, we're going to be adapting to what people are asking for. Because this is a conversation we have with the dancing, rather than us trying to invent something.
How do you actually coordinate with all the teachers? So let's start with, what information do the teachers get, and what is the briefing process before everyone gets there? Because there's a lot happening in that week.
Yeah, it's a lot about communication. First, we get all the feedback from the reviewing of the videos. And thankfully, because teachers are part of that, it's easy to start understanding, okay, what has been what is the kind of public, the audience that we're going to have in this week. That creates a lot of difference between, okay, what do we have to be focusing more on what? And then, of course, we create a WhatsApp group with all the teachers to start telling all the story of, these are the applications we're getting, these are the ratings we're getting lower, we see people wanting to learn more of this, we see that need, how do we do it? So a bit of a conversation with everyone to bring it to life. And together with Andreas, we have a lot of one-to-ones also with the teachers themselves. When we go into vehicles and conversations in festivals, and we go like, okay, this year we have this need, how should we develop it? What do we do that is new? So it's a lot of this co-creation process together with the teachers. So it's not us directing it, really. It's not us making it happen. It's a collaboration exercise of a conversation that we continuously make. I guess it will start now in February. At the end of February, we'll have, the ratings. Then we'll start having it. We have May, June, July. We have a couple of months to actually, roll the ball, and at the end of it have something special. One other thing we want to do that is also because of feedback and because we want to make the most of the time is that we want to do a couple of the classes that happen theoretical online. So if we have a class that is about sitting and listening to someone giving you just theoretical information, rather than having that in Cadiz, where you could be as well in the beach, enjoying the sun or doing something fun, what about having that class before you arrive to Cadiz? And then you're able to really use it as a pre-exercise for your class. You get prepared, you maybe get a little challenge, you have a homework, you show your homework to the people in the class. It's about kind of being, not arriving in 0, but arriving in 100, so that when you arrive, you can work on the thing that you already know you're working, and you take the time in person for the things that can only happen in person. So yeah, we're not yet defined how that's going to work, but we're taking everything we can that could be pre-prepared, pre-organized, so people arrive already with some of that before the class homework. That's something I'm also learning from my MBA.
I think it's really cool that because dance is such I always describe it to people who don't know about it, kind of like Fight Club, where you'd be surprised at where in cities you haven't even considered it happens. It's actually quite big, but it stays relatively, not hidden, but because dancers talk about it to everyone, but also they don't at the same time. The amount of times I walked through, like, I lived in Richmond for about, I don't know, probably 10 years of my whole life. And then as soon as I start dancing, that's coincidentally the one weekend I notice, oh, they actually have live salsa right here with a bunch of dancers. Has this been happening the whole time? And I just never paid attention to it, whatever it is. Similarly, because so many walks of life, so many people in different walks of life are in it, there are so many different skills you can use to just make the community better, whether it's the business side of things, whether it's the fitness side of things, whether it's the mental life coaching aspect side of things, whether it's like, the list never stops. So it's really cool.
Yeah, and I think it's important to keep evolving. We've never had this event happen the same way every year. It's always something we change. It's always something we improve, because we also get bored of the same thing all over. So we always listen to feedback, try different things there, and hopefully every time better.
Is there anything you encourage teachers at Bachata Week to not do, even if it's popular elsewhere?
One of the key elements, and I think all of them know it, is that in this event is not about not choreography, combinations. It's not about coming and teaching just the combo, which is what we very often see happening in other big events, and is what they have to do, because events are designed in a way that if you have 2,000 people and just 1 hour, the only thing you can give them is a sequence, so that they try to get something they can learn later, try to guess how to make it happen. And maybe it's a challenge that we were also hearing from Luis and Andrea, that is a difficult thing for them, because they have to take a stop into the way that they always do things, because they have to. And it's a good learning challenge for them as well, because they need to start thinking, okay, what do people need now? And it all starts from conversations. From Hero and Migle, we're having this great conversation last time, and we were discussing, what is he gonna teach? And he's like, okay, what people in the environment right now need in the dance community is more of that understanding of not just the technique of how you do things, but when to do it, when to speed up, when to stop, when to add that, difference of timing that makes a whole difference. And that's one of the things he's going to bring, which is super exciting. And he would never have the opportunity of doing it in a normal class, in a normal workshop, because the audience is not ready, it's not balanced, it's not, small enough. It's a way that we prepare the teachers and how we encourage them to take advantage of this unique opportunity.
I imagine the whole event itself is also a great chance for teachers to have free reign to see the limits of their own creativity too, because I'm sure it's a common thing with them that whatever their regular teaching nights are, or whatever the festivals they happen to go to, of course they'll probably have a good time, the energy's great, but from a professional or creative standpoint, they want a space where they can do hard stuff, because then it forces them to do something different, or it puts them in a position where they can really be tested, and it almost brings back that excitement, maybe even for dance for them again.
Absolutely. And there's very few events, I think, where the teachers themselves had that opportunity of openly explore how far they can go. If it's their own festival, for sure. But that all of them, all of the teachers that are maybe not working together every week, have that opportunity of trying crazy things. The campus is here, and we have all the facilities, the gorgeous place, the crazy participants. The sky is the limit.
This might be an obvious question, but some people still need it asked. When it comes to the atmosphere in the community, how do respect and humility actually show up on the dance floor?
Good question. And I think that it all starts with the fact that you have to make a video and bother doing the whole process, and actually not just jump into the event and just, anybody can buy the ticket, but having to have that journey. It starts filtering for people that will have that hat of, I'm going to be humble enough and I'm going to come with a learning intention. I remember even there was a moment when a couple of years ago, somebody was telling me, I'll pay you anything. I'll give you all the money that you need. How much is it going to be? And let me pass. And we were like, sorry, it's not about how much money you can give us. This is an event that we curate so carefully. There's things you cannot buy with money.
Mm. There's almost not ironic, but there's a duality there where, because bachata as a whole, I think part of the reason why it's growing so fast is the barrier for entry is very low. Like in the beginning, bachata is very easy. You step, tap, you step, tap, you do some turns. It gets way harder at some point. But in the beginning, I think people, like, from what I understand, I got into dance after COVID. From what I understand about the salsa bachata community and how it links, most of the people who got into bachata before COVID went in through salsa. So they already had a mutual understanding and appreciation for how dance is. Whereas now it's getting more popular, more and more music artists are releasing more popular music. More people are going into it because it serves a different purpose to them, and they're not necessarily in it for the love of the dance, which is not necessarily wrong. But for the people who are in it for the love of the dance, this is one of, if not the most accessible, low barrier entry dance there is. Whereas this event you're doing is probably the highest barrier of entry for any dance event that there is, which I think works quite well.
And I think that's super important. Like, I love it when we have events where we are really open to the world, showing everything that can happen. Like, I'm very proud in London of our friends organizing a Bachata Exchange event on Sundays where 400 people gather. Every week, new people can come. You have to pay nothing, which makes people just feel like, I'm going to pass by and say hello to everyone. And it allows more people to join the community. And that's one of the things that makes London such an amazing place to dance. Kudos for our friends. But as well as there is that quantity of people joining, there needs to be some moments for people that are in a different part of their dance journey where they want to be learning with people that are also in that same space, that have learned the basics, that have done everything, and many of them are teaching in their cities. There's no opportunities for them to take the next level. One thing we've been trying to do always is that we do not want to be exclusive. We don't exclude people because of looks or, age. Is very inclusive at this event because we love that diversity and inclusion of the dance itself. And we aim as well in the selection of people to add an element of diversity. We want people from different countries, from different types of places. We want to make sure that we are able to bring everyone. But of course, the only limitation is that it is not an event for beginners. There's other events for beginners, amazing events for beginners. But that's the only difference. But of course, with the humbleness of, we don't do it because we feel we're better. We do it because we want to create some special space where we do something different.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. It's like if you're looking to get into rap battling someone in English, you're not going to do it with people who've just learned the language. It's not to put them down. It's to try and boost the other people up.
Yeah.
And everywhere, almost most places are very beginner friendly anyway, as it is. So I don't think there's anything wrong with this, what you're trying to do. And linking to the inclusivity part of it, as an organizer, what do you do to protect the culture and the people's enjoyment without policing them?
Well, we are very up forward about our values. Being humble, focusing on learning, making sure you create the right connections, focus on that connection, and quality over quantity are the things that decide every decision. We talk about those values. Even last year we had a competition. We call it not Jack and Jill, but Jill and Jack, because we always have the leg of the follower first. Even in the couples, we always have the follower first, and then so it was a Jill and Jack. And in the beginning, for those that competed might remember it, we started with us talking about how we deliver those values in the competition. It was not about who wins. It's a learning opportunity. We're going to be here cheering everybody. It doesn't matter who passes. We're all going to be supporting them. And I think it makes a big difference. Like, the environment of the competition felt much more inclusive. I even remember that there were some people that their friend didn't pass, but everyone was cheering the person that did, because at the end, people started becoming friends with everyone. So yeah, we try to translate and be very open about our values, and bring them to life in every single decision we make.
There's a very successful businesswoman, maybe you're familiar with her, Leo Hormozy. Mm-hmm. She had a great line, which is that your culture is your values. So the cheering thing you just said reminded me, I started competing in Jill and Jack's last year as well. And it's so interesting to notice the difference in energy of the crowds and what they clearly value, which is stemming from the culture of the setting, depending on which city I was in. So I won't name where and where, but some events I would go to where it just felt really nice. Like, there's this really, I don't know if you can call it an old school mentality, but there's a school of thought where to bring the best out of people, to bring the best out of yourself, it needs to be a cutthroat environment, and it needs to be very boom, 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 boom. Like, for me personally, I call that old Soviet style thinking, where it's competitive over collaborative, and you need to fuel more of the negativity to bring the best out of people, as opposed to all the positivity, because it doesn't work as much or whatever. But then I compare that with a different Jack and Jill I did last year, where the environment was so not just enjoyable, regardless of whatever placement people got, regardless of whatever placement I got. I did the best in that competition compared to all the other ones I've done, but I enjoyed it the least because of just the vibe and the energy of the competitors, which is not necessarily their fault, but that's like the trickling point of everything that happened beforehand. So, of course, people are in charge of their own actions, and you can control ultimately you control how you behave, but we are also subject to our environment, and we are subject to the influences of what's around us. So it's I'm going to be very curious to see what it's like at Bachata Week. So I'm looking forward to it.
That's a very good point. And one of the other things that I'm passionate about is psychology, human behavior. And part of my learning has been about what motivates people. It's so fascinating to see how much people get much more motivated for things that are aligned to their values and make them feel empowered than by fear. Still, we do a lot of things by fear, by making you feel you're not good enough, by making you cutthroat complete. But that doesn't give you a good feeling. And is that what stays in your memory and what later is going to motivate you to want to continue? Also, that is a good application to what you were describing there. In the old times, it was a lot about discipline and learning. Now it's so much more about gentle parenting. Yes, as a mom, I have very strict rules. We do what we have to do, but we do it with love. We do it with care, with kindness. Because why? Why do we have to suffer? Life is already hard. Enjoy it.
Yeah, and I'm not a parent, but I'm hoping this is how I will be one if I ever become one, where even with disagreements with friends or family, whatever it is, obviously this isn't the ideal world, but when you feel negative feelings like anger or whatever it may be, it's there to tell you something, and you don't necessarily have to act through that. So even there was I forget if this came from a friend I had before or if it was from a book, but everything is done through either love or fear. Everything comes from one of those. Any positive emotion is some kind of love. Any negative emotion is some kind of fear. Hate, anger, anxiousness, misery, sadness, whatever. Fear, yada, yada, happiness. And the emotions are there to tell you something. So especially if you apply it to trying to develop yourself in something, it's same as when you have a conversation with someone. We very rarely remember what people tell us, but we remember how they made us feel. So that's why sometimes people can just kind of talk at you, but in a way that works, where if you're like, what did they even say in these last 5 minutes? I don't know, but I enjoyed it. Same as if you go to a comedy show and you're like, what was your favorite joke? And you think, I don't actually remember. I just remember laughing the whole time. Yeah. Same with the competitions, that you could lose and come dead last, but because of other factors, that might have been the most enjoyable one for you. Whereas you might win a different one, but because of those same factors, it was the least enjoyable one for you. And I really like the idea of collaboration over competition, because it's just, for lack of a better phrase, it feels new age and almost like an evolved way to approach stuff.
I think there's an opportunity. We can do competitions that are very scary and that make you feel tired and ugly about it at the end, or we can still make competitions that make you feel empowered, excited, that get you out with that adrenaline, which is great to have in a competition, but it's still with a positive element. And back to the point that you had about the emotions. Yes, being a parent, one of the hardest thing about dealing with being a parent is that you have to learn that emotions are not you. Emotion is something that you're feeling. And if you're able to take away yourself for a second out of the emotion and understand what am I feeling, it's something that is calling for a need that you have at the moment. Maybe a response, maybe a limit you have to set, but it's important to learn how to manage it and answer with kindness and answer with respect. So yeah, good luck to all the parents out there. It's the toughest thing I've done in my whole life.
I very much agree and like the idea that you are not the feeling, you are the thing that's responding to the feeling. So whatever you want to call it, you're the being, you're the soul. You're not even your own brain, you're not your own body. You are the thing that is experiencing all of that. So we're talking about positive and negative reinforcement, basically. And it's very reminiscent of when I first started dancing. My teacher at the time, two of the most amazing things he taught me were how to love the dance, but more importantly, he allowed me and he developed and fostered a literal safe space for me to feel comfortable enough to be willing to be made a fool when he was there with me. And I was so self-conscious of moving in front of anyone in any capacity that if it wasn't for him, first time I ever did a salsa class properly, I went to Bar Salsa Temple with him. Or even before that, he said, I told him, because he was Colombian, I said, oh, I've always been interested in Latina music. I've always wanted to try it. He said, have you heard of a place called Bar Salsa Temple? I said, no, what's that? He said, come on Friday, 7 p.m. It's free. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not going to disagree with that. You remember the layout of Bar Salsa Temple. You remember what the floor was like. So there was big dance floor here, like a stage here where the DJ teacher would be. And then there's a little VIP section here, which was elevated. You can look over the whole dance floor. Yeah. I remember before the free intro class started, me and him were up on that elevation, looking at everyone lining up, and there were like 50 people. He said, yeah, this is the intro class. I was like, oh, okay, cool. This is going to be fun to watch. And he went, yeah, we're going to go down there. We're going to go right to the front. And he allowed and he developed he's such an encouraging person. And I felt so encouraged to go in front of everyone. And I would have never thought to do that in my life. So he absolutely taught me that. And if it wasn't for that, I would not be where I am now. Like I've had moments where people who I have good relations with, of course, nothing bad, but for whatever reason, I felt uncomfortable dancing in front of them. If I was to showcase like a move or body movement, I was, as I'm sure we all are, I was so receptive and sensitive to that feeling of being anxious around them that my body movement immediately turned into this. Yeah. And I could feel it in that moment. I was like, this feels so unpleasant. And it's just... Yeah.
And I think you got exactly to the core of it. As humans, the most important need we have is safety. When you feel threatened, you're in a fight or flight. You immediately want to get out of it. You feel wrong. There's no space for growth, learning, connection, nothing of that. But in moments when you feel safe, when you feel that you are in an environment that, hey, I am thriving, this is a place where I can try doing different things. That's when you actually learn, when you enjoy. And it goes for parenting as much as it goes for learning dancing or for even having relations. Like creating that kindness and safe community is super important.
And I didn't realize how important community was until I actually had one that I felt was good for me, because most of my life I've been quite antisocial and introverted for God knows what reasons. But I didn't realize, in essence, how lonely I was until I actually had regular friends to spend time with, especially in dance. And About a year and a half or 2 years ago, I was really close to just walking away from dance and giving it up completely. And I couldn't quite understand why. I thought it was the dance itself, but I realized I just associated simply the people I was around or the negative culture I was around with the dance. And of course, it sounds obvious now that I say it out loud. You put yourself in a positive environment where you feel like you're thriving instead of surviving, your nervous system can physically and literally relax. And it's like, this is what it's supposed to feel like. So I imagine with everything that I know so far about Bachata Week, that is what I'm probably going to feel, especially with the views and the beach and the sea.
Exactly.
Everything.
And it's so key to have that feeling. Like, as you were saying earlier, you never remember what you heard, what you saw. Those things kind of go away so quickly. But that feeling is the kind of thing people write about after the week. Very often we have this collection of posts people put in their stories about everything they felt and how connection, how excited, how connected back to the dance, how they found again the enjoyment. So I think it's an honor for me. Like, we do this together with my husband, of course, because it's a fun challenge and exercise, and because we love it, but most importantly, because we think that we're contributing to the community in something we love. And we're very proud that people go out of it saying that it was one of the best weeks of their life.
What are some of the hardest decisions throughout the entire process, throughout the years, that you've had to make with trying to keep the value of Bachata Week the way you want them to be?
I think every year we have different challenges. Some of them have been logistic. At some points, we had to react to unexpected things happening. Like one year, just 2 weeks before the festival, one of the venues we were using decided not to give us a venue, and we had to react and find something in Cadiz. And Cadiz is a great city, blessed, but we don't do it because of Cadiz, sometimes in spite of Cadiz, because it's hard to organize things in Cadiz. It takes time to move things. So it's been many years, the logistics or things changing or things not going as perfectly as expected. But even in the moments when we have had the biggest crisis, either between organizers, either between things that are going wrong, sometimes the situation has been really heavy. And as an organizer, we've had difficult moments. But one important thing is that we are always protecting the experience of the participants. So even when we're having a hard time, you'll never notice. And even our close friends will be like, oh, I didn't know you were going through all of that. Because we want to make sure that everyone has the best time. So yeah, we'll sit with a beer and I'll tell you all about it. But it's lots of anecdotes.
I don't, but I do look forward to hearing about them. Yes. Just in case I didn't understand it properly, if we have talked about this, what's different this year in terms of the elephant in the room?
Well, it's a big year of a change. As Central Week, we've been having a set of teachers that was quite regular. And this year we have 40% of the teachers are the same, but then 60% are not. And some people have been really worried and confused and discussing, is this going to be quality? Am I going to get the best return of my investment? It's an investment to go to a festival, spend a week, do the vacation there. So probably that's the biggest elephant in the room. With the big change, is it still worth it? My answer to that would be that this event is not being great, being so successful, being with so many people wanting to apply because of a coincidence. It's been a journey of choosing the right values, making the right choices, doing it in a way that is professional, quality, and that we are ensuring that it's going to bring the best of these teachers that we're bringing. We selected them in a very important curation process that was not very random. We just didn't select it because they are some of the most popular in Instagram, but because they have really fantastic things to teach. I think this year is actually the most exciting one we've had for a long time because with all the changes, we have a crazy, incredible lineup. And we've never had the opportunity of all these artists together in the same canvas that will be painting very interesting things. So I'm very excited.
On a more personal level to you, of course, this is, like you said, this is a very intentional event. Every good thing, more or less, every value you try and reinforce has been a conscious, concise effort by the community and the group of people that are part of the whole project. Do you, or have you throughout the years taken a moment, or do you get moments where you just pause, maybe while you're there, where you just pause and you take a moment and you think, I'm actually really proud that I am one of the most influential aspects of this, not from a sense of well done me, but from a sense of like, well done me. You know what I mean?
100%, yes. I think that also with the organizers very much in the last decade, there was always moments in the social when we get together and we look at the dance floor and we say, can you believe we're making this happen? Isn't it amazing that this is the story we're writing together? So it's in moments when you have that, we're here, things are running and everybody's enjoying, that you have that space for reflection. I really look forward for when that happens this year. And with the key person, that is my husband. Andreas and me, we're best friends. We've been married for 15 years. This year is going to be 15 years. We've been together for 18 years. And we are such a good team. And I couldn't be more blessed because he's my best friend. In spite of all the challenges I've had, last year was a hard one for me, also with job and some changes in my life. He's the rock. And he's the person that I know that we can achieve anything we aim to, because we have the same values, we're hardworking, we have resilience, we have this, positivity. He's my biggest blessing. So I look forward this year to being Cadiz, celebrating. We're doing this together with our friends because people have been supporting us in such a way. Just celebrate 15 years of marriage with him.
That's beautiful. And for the viewers, finally, a good instance of a positive, long-lasting marriage, because those are very rare to find. So it's nice for me personally to witness it as well. Couple questions to round off.
Of course.
If someone's on the fence about applying for Bachata Week or not, what would you recommend they ask themselves?
I think if they're considering if applying or not, I would ask themselves, why do they want to come? If what we have been discussing, the values, the experience, is something that resonates with them, give it a try. Apply. There's nothing wrong in applying, and it's free. So just send your video, consider it. If you have questions, you have my WhatsApp. Talk to me. I'm at the risk of having 1,000 messages in WhatsApp of people asking, but we're, as we're saying, probably one of the big few events in the world where the actual organizers care about people experience. So come and talk. It's we are open to discussion.
I would imagine one of the biggest obstacles or concerns for people is, even though it is rightfully so priced the way it is, one of the biggest obstacles would be how much it is, because it's what it is. What would you tell to the people who are worrying about that aspect, whether or not they should apply because of the financial side?
Well, I would ask them to calculate where they want to invest their money in bachata. Other festivals are maybe half price, but they're also just a weekend. We get, if you just do it mathematically, you get so much value per money, because if you were going to have master classes or privates with these teachers, you spend so much more money. And on top of the parties in the crazy location, and on top of all the things that we bring are actually quite expensive. This event is not a cheap one, and it's hard to run it because we make it premium. But at the same time, we appreciate that it's a lot of money to pay at once. So one thing that we're doing this year is that we have options. People can pay either 400 at once, just to get done with it. People can pay us every year 220 and 220, so 220 to book and 220 in Cadiz, fine. And we also open the opportunity of paying in installments. So if somebody finds it better, they can pay 110 per month, and that's easier to deal with, in a monthly series. If anybody's having trouble with that and wants to pay in 5 months, in 6 months, if they want to, sort it out, and finances is the reason why they're not coming, talk to me. We're not doing this because we are like, we have the opportunity of doing it with quality. So rather than having 2,000 participants, I want to have a selected number, 400, that we can actually have personal connections with. So talk to me.
And this year is the first time you've had these financial plan options?
Yes, we are. I'm also applying something that I'm learning in my studies of how to help people manage that financial element. And we're giving it a try. And if it works, we'll continue helping people in a responsible way, making the payments spread through time, but helping people take care of their finances as well. I'm very keen in, Klarna and those things have a terrible reputation because they don't allow people to really realize how much money they are putting themselves in debt. So shark loans, buy now, pay later, those things are not responsible. And I want to stay more away of them and create my own financing, ethical financing options.
I imagine even just the existence of installments might be the difference for people, because even though I ended up paying up in full because screw it, get out the way now, it was the fact that you said I could pay half now, half in Cadiz. And I thought, oh, okay, maybe it's worth it.
Yeah. And as an organizer, I get I have it easier if I get more cash now. So if you pay everything in front, you get a free T-shirt. That's the offer we're having,
Cool.
after until certain time. But also, I understand that some people really are having a hard time getting all of that money out of the account at once. So we're here to have solutions. And if the problem is money, there's no problem.
Final question. It's going to be my first time going this year. On a personal level, what advice, so aside from all of the logistics and everything we literally talked about, what advice would you give for me? Personal favorite spots to check out, certain perspectives or things to remember when I'm there, certain things to do when I'm there. What advice would you give me as a first timer?
Well, because it's you, I've spent, I don't know, maybe 3 years trying to get you excited in coming. And I'm very happy that this year, finally, yes, is the year when we're going to make it happen. For you and for anybody with that instinct of doing more for the community, I say, let's keep the conversation of what else can we make out of this playground, of this canvas we have. What we're doing in Cadiz is not for us to just run a business. It's for us to really build something together. So if you think that there's opportunities with the skill set or what you want to do with your career, let's talk about it and let's open the opportunity, because I love bringing new ideas to life. And about what to experience and what to do, I would say it's going to be a week for a lot of new input, a lot of new friends. I would say maybe try, if you can already spot what are the things you want to learn or what are the weaknesses where you feel that you would have. I was even discussing with a friend in my video. I'm going to try to aim at saying in these 5 criteria, I'm going to try to score myself. And I'm going to see what feedback I receive and see how much difference is the feedback that I would give to myself to the real feedback. And based on that, trying to understand what are my learning areas. So in the learning space, do some exercise like that.
Sounds good. I look forward to coming this year. Are there any final things that you want to say or mention? Where would you direct people to apply if they want to do it?
So applications are opening the 3rd of February. And bachataweek.com is the website. And we also have Bachata Week Official, which is our Instagram. And from there, you can contact us and you can very easily get my Instagram, my WhatsApp number, or talk to me in Instagram. So yeah, always talk to me. But of course, bachataweek.com is our website.
When do the applications close?
We are going to open it on the 3rd, and we'll keep it open as a rolling exercise, because we want to give opportunity to people from different places. We've heard some people are having a hard time because especially in that week, they have either a break or something happening in their country. So we'll keep it open for a little bit. Now, of course, apply early. The earlier you apply, the faster will you review your video, and we have a 400 capacity. At the same time, there's some people we will be saying no to because maybe they're not ready. So I would say try to apply the 3rd of February or as soon as you can.
When you say open for a short amount of time, couple weeks, couple months?
I think it really depends. We are going to be selective. Sometimes we've been able to keep spaces open for until a certain amount of months. So yeah, we'll probably keep it open, but I think it's important for people to not think, oh, it's open for a week or it's open for more, because then they're going to be late in the queue. And I hate that every year we have to say no to people. We have no space. So yeah, just try to be early in the queue so that if you want to come, just apply.
Are there any final things you would like to mention that you think are important to say about anything we've talked about?
No, I think that it's I'm taking away from the conversation the element that we talk about values. Very often we talk about, what is the meaning of life, or what makes happiness really come to life. And I feel that for me, having clear values and working to those values is the thing that makes my life really fulfilling. So being able to take decisions based on love, based on empowerment, rather than on fear, sometimes takes me to very uncomfortable places, to make uncomfortable decisions, to be in places where I'm with fear because it's new challenges. But that is the way that we are really, making our life worth it. I think we came to this world to change it and to do something incredible in it, and we have the opportunity. So I just have to say thank you for the opportunity. I feel very blessed to be able to talk to people about what we believe and what we do, what we're proud of, and invite everyone to be part of this, this magic experience in Cadiz. So I hope we see a lot of new people, new faces in the beaches of Cadiz. It's a gorgeous place.
Perfect. Thank you for coming on.
Yes, thank you so much for organizing all of this.
Relatively shorter than I thought. And we will see you next time.
Bye.
Cool. Now, moment of truth, which always scares me and has never failed, but checking everything was recording the whole time. Yeah. Yes. 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 Hallelujah.
Yay.